Hello students, today we are going to start our new chapter, Living Organisms and Their Surroundings. Living things or organisms live everywhere on this earth. They live deep inside the oceans where no light reaches and it is totally dark. They also live in the high mountains which are always covered with snow. They live all around your house and also inside your house. In fact, several organisms live inside your bodies too. Plants and animals living in different places are different from each other. They adapt themselves to their surroundings. Living things do not live in isolation. All organisms, both plants and animals, need food and other materials from their surroundings to survive. Air, water, and soil form an essential part of our surroundings. The life of an organism is affected by the living and non living things around it. Everything surrounding and affecting an organism is known as its environment. The study of the relationship between the living things and their environment is known as ecology. Our environment is made up of living and non living components. All of them interact with each other. The living or biotic component include all living organisms. These constitute the biotic or biological environment. The non-living or abiotic components include air, water, soil, sunlight, temperature, etc. These constitute the abiotic or physical environment. These factors affect the living organisms found in the area. Biotic and abiotic components constitute the natural environment. Human beings are also a part of the environment. We can change the environment to suit our needs. Today we do not live in the natural environment such as a forest. The cities or villages we live in have a human-made environment. If ever you study the environment in different areas, such as in deserts, hilly, or in coastal areas, you will find that the environment is different, but the basic components are the same. So, here we will discuss biotic components and their interactions. The living or organisms that make up of biotic components of an environment can be divided into three groups depending on how they obtain their food. And the first one is producers. We know that the green plants make their own food from carbon dioxide, water, the minerals, and sunlight, and this process is known as photosynthesis. Organisms that can make their own food are known as producers. They are also called autotrophs. Auto means self and troph mean food, who prepare their own food. Some organisms depend directly or indirectly on the food prepared by the plants. They are known as the consumers or heterotrophs. All organisms, including human beings, are consumers. Herbivores such as cows, deer, and goats are the animals that eat only plants. They get their food directly from plants. So, such animals are known as primary consumers. Carnivores such as tiger and wolves, they eat other animals. They thus get their food indirectly from plants and they are known as secondary consumers. The omnivores such as bears, crows, the dog, etc. They eat both plants and animals. So they are known as the omnivores. After the category of the producer and consumers, we have to discuss about the decomposers. Bacteria and Fungi are very small organisms that cannot be seen with the naked eye. These are known as microorganisms. They are consumers that feed mainly on the dead remains of plants and animals. The nutrients that producers, means the green plants, absorb from the soil are passed on to all the consumers. When a producer or a consumer dies, bacteria and fungi act to break down or decompose to dead material of its body into the nutrient substances it was made up of. These nutrients return to the soil from where they came and mix with it. Therefore, bacteria and fungi are known as the decomposers. Thus, the decomposers serve a very useful purpose of maintaining the balance of nutrients in the soil by returning the nutrients to it. So, in this way, the nature recycles the nutrients that have been taken from the soil. This is very important since the total amount of these nutrients doesn't change. So, what has been taken away must be put back for the life to survive. The interaction among biotic components are animals depend on plants for food, oxygen and shelter. Some other things we human get from plants are medicine, spices, wood, timber, rubber, cotton and jute. Plants depend on animals for pollination and dispersal of seeds. These help plants in reproduction. Animals excrete and their dead bodies and nutrients to the soil. They act as manure and provide minerals for the plant growth of the plant. The abiotic components and their interaction with the biotic components. All biotic components in a habitat share the abiotic components such as air, water, soil, temperature, and sunlight. So there is a constant interaction between the two. For example, plant needs light and water to prepare their food. They also need soil to grow. And the animal also cannot live without food, water, and air. So both plants and animals need a certain temperature range to survive. Now you can understand why living things cannot live in isolation. All living organisms are dependent on each other, not only for food but also for their basic necessities. There may be several living things, plants, animals, and microorganisms in a place like a forest. So the forest is the living area or habitat. The word habitat means the living place of an organism. It is a natural living place of the organism. That habitat provides an organism with food, shelter, and climatic conditions best suited for it to survive, breed, and flourish. Therefore, a place where the conditions for the existence of a living organism are present and where it can survive, breed, and flourish is known as the habitat of that particular organism. A habitat consists of both biotic and abiotic environments. Both these are essential for the survival of an organism. For example, some of the components that must be present in the habitat of a tiger, like animal that the tiger can hunt and feed upon, the plants in the form of shady tree where it can rest, and shrubs where it can hide and wait for its prey. It also needs sufficiently rainfall and suitable temperature for the tiger and other animals and plants to survive. So these are the basic components that a tiger needs in its habitat. There are two main types of habitat on the earth: aquatic, or we can also say that water habitats, and the terrestrials or land habitats. In the aquatic habitat, marine habitats, freshwater habitats, and coastal habitats are included. The marine habitats refer to saltwater habitats in the sea and the oceans. The organisms living in the marine habitat are known as the marine organisms. For example, the whales, sharks, sea turtles, and seaweeds. The freshwater habitats refers to lakes, rivers, ponds, and streams. The organisms living in these habitats are various types of fish, water bugs, and water lilies. Refer to the coastal habitat, the region where the sea meets land. There are a variety of coastal habitats that support different types of living organisms. So some organisms, these unique habitats support are crabs, oysters, seaweeds, and mangroves. Land offers the best of living conditions because of great difference in abiotic factors, mainly temperature and availability of water. Therefore, the largest variety of organisms is found on land. Land organisms are known as the terrestrial organisms. So, the terrestrial habitat can be further divided into different types. Desert habitats, grassland habitats, rainforest habitats, and the polar habitats. The desert habitats, they get very little rain and are hot and dry. We have discussed about it many times ago. And some organisms living in these habitats are camels, rats, snakes, and cacti. The grassland habitats get moderate rain. For examples of organisms living in these are zebras, giraffes, deer, lions, and grasses. Rainforest habitats are hot and wet and get plenty of rain. The animals like monkeys, snakes, tigers, and hundreds of varieties of trees are found in rainforest habitats. The polar habitats or the tundra habitats are very cold and always covered with snow. We can find the organisms like polar bears, penguins, and some grasses over here. Last but not least, the mountain habitats are those that rise much higher than the land surrounding them. Mountain habitats are cold and windy. Snowfall also occur in the higher mountains and the organisms that we can find here are mountain goats, yaks, sheep, and pines. So this is all about the different types of habitats. Thank you.